at the end of the day, it all does come back down to that user experience, right? You could have the best features in the world, bespoke things that no one else has, but if you can't use them and they're not convenient, they're not going to get used and it's going to be a bad experience.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of MCUL's Friday 5 podcast. Super excited with our topic this month of remote service delivery and branch strategies. And one of the reasons I'm excited about this topic isn't just because it's so relevant to all of our credit unions in Michigan, but we have with us Michigan First Credit Union, who has really been setting the standard on this topic for several years at the credit union. So we're thrilled to have with us two folks from Michigan First Credit Union, their COO, Jennifer Borowy, as well as their Chief IT Officer, Jerry Bettens. So both of them join us to talk through all of the amazing things that Michigan First is doing, but also, even though they are a larger size credit union, they shed some great insight and advice for smaller credit unions in this remote service delivery space. So hopefully all asset size credit unions will get some value from this great discussion as we join hearing from Michigan First, which, just a little bit of background, Michigan First Credit Union is over $1 billion in assets, and they have over 170,000 members. So I hope you enjoy this discussion with Jennifer and Jerry. I sure know I was thrilled to talk to both of them. Jennifer and Jerry, thanks so much for joining us on Friday 5. Super excited to have you both with us. Really excited to hear some more detail and the exciting things that Michigan First Credit Union has going on. So Jennifer, just going to start with you. Can you describe the credit union's kind of overall approach to balancing branch and remote strategies?
Yeah, the strategy really isn't about balancing both of those things. It's really just understanding from the member's perspective how they want to do their banking. And then what we do is we identify the best way to serve them in the way that they want to be served. So today we have a lot of different channels available to our members. Our online banking, our mobile banking, we have a lot of usage there. We have a 365 live member service center, which is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on the holidays. So we never shut down for our members. We also have probably the highest in-person traffic count in the state of Michigan is our guess. Our tellers just do a phenomenal job. We've invested in a cash dispenser machine just to be able to help and keep up with that transaction volume. And then over time, we haven't really seen the channels diminish by any means. Instead, we just continue to add and invest in usable technology for our members once we understand exactly how they want to be served. So we have a number of things that we do that are very unique, and we've done it for a length of time. So our ATMs today, even since 2004, offer multiple cash denominations, even $1 bills, and it's connected to our host system and has been since 2004. So our members don't have to put an envelope around the check to be able to deposit it into the machine. It's quickly noticeable then on their online banking or their mobile device. We also have coin machines at each of our locations. What's unique about that is also connected to the host system. So the members don't have to wait around for a receipt to be printed and then wait in line for the tellers. They can simply get access to that coin and that deposit immediately, and again, be able to quickly see it available on their phone if they wanted to see that. We also have safe deposit box technology, where the member just puts their handprint on the machine and can quickly access their safe deposit box. We also assist our members with tablet technology. That's unique because we don't have to wait to serve the member behind a computer. We can quickly adapt to where the member is within the branch and be able to quickly serve them. And then we also have instant issuance for our debit cards at each of our locations. And what's unique about that is our 365 Live team then can answer a member's call at 2 a.m. And if a member wants access to a debit card, we can do that for them and make that card available immediately for them at 2 a.m. So we continue to just listen to the members, understand how they want to be served, serve them well, and continue to invest in usable technology for them.
Yeah, and it's amazing how it seems like it's a small thing, but it might take a lot to put in action. But some of those individual small things can so impress a member. And just hearing you with that tremendous list of all the different options that you guys have at Michigan First, I think too, I know using your ATMs, that ability to select the denomination is so important. You know, if you want $80, I don't want all of that in 20s because I need tip money. You know, that's usually the only thing you use cash for these days is to tip people. And when I'm going through the car wash, I might not want to give them $20. And to be able to select that, it's such a simple thing. But I think as a member, it's awesome and it's somewhat unique. I know other credit unions offer that as well, but it is a big deal. And I know also using your online chat feature is phenomenal because it's just such an easy way to engage. Instead of picking up the phone to calling, you're able to just continually chat with them, and they're super prompt and receptive to any issue. And just as I've enjoyed so many of the services that you've just mentioned, and my daughter has deposited a lot of change in your coin machine, and it's a really cool feature too, especially getting your ATM card right away. You know, with instead of waiting 7 to 10 days, again, that's just such a phenomenal experience for your members. So, Jerry, with that big list, you must have quite a big job at, at the credit union. Why don't you kind of just generally describe your tech team and how you guys handle all of those services and strategies for your members?
Yeah, it's actually a very fun job because it gets you involved with a lot of the new things. You're inventing, you're creating, you're building the future, right? And it's a lot of fun. We've been able to, I've been with the credit union now for 6.5 years. Time flies. And we've built a pretty solid technology team. We've got a good number of developers that we can do our own development things ourselves. We're terrific at support, working with different vendors, integrating things in. So we've done a good job positioning ourselves to be able to step up to these things. It's always a challenge. Things are moving so fast that they've ever have and continue to go faster and faster all the time. So I won't say it's easy, but
Yeah.
it's fun and we're enjoying it.
Yeah, so I know, of course, Jennifer emphasized, you know, the importance of what the members want and need in terms of their mobile banking. Are there any other considerations, Jerry, when Michigan First is considering maybe adding features to mobile banking or taking things away, other than just the member experience? Do you factor in anything else?
Well, it's a great question. And at the end of the day, it all does come back down to that user experience, right?
Mhm.
It's that member experience that has to be there. You could have the best features in the world, you know, bespoke things that no one else has, but if you can't use them and they're not convenient, they're not going to get used and it's going to be a bad experience. So it really does come down to that user experience. And I'll describe it, I'll borrow some words from Samantha Paxton, the Chief Experience Officer over at Co-op. She describes it as lifestyle versus life events. And that's such a great way of describing it because it does talk about that user experience. You know, we're really good at providing life events, you know, like a car loan or college funding or, you know, new home, those different things that happen in your life that are events that we need to engage with. But lifestyle is different. And I'll give you a great example. And it's been a while since anyone's done this, but let's take a business trip, right? I buy my airplane ticket on my phone. I check into my flight on my phone. I go through TSA with my phone. I get on the plane with my phone. Oh, by the way, I parked my car with my debit card that's on my phone. You know, and so you're going through these things, and you're landing. You know, you're not even on the ground yet, but I'm buying coffee at Starbucks in the airport, and then I get to the airport. I get an Uber on my phone. I go to the hotel that I've booked on my phone. I check in, open the door with my phone. It's all that lifestyle. It's those events that you want to enable our members to be able to have. That mobile device really has become that thing, right? So it's not everything that is within your app, but it's integrating and becoming part of that lifestyle, right? So I think that's important. So we talk about how do we deliver that? And it's been, as long as I've been here anyway, it's been one of our top strategic priorities to deliver what we call a frictionless digital experience. So take that and then deliver it frictionlessly, right? And then this gets to how do you do that? We took a good look before I'd gotten here at the credit union, we decided that we're going to develop our own mobile app. And we kind of did that, but it was aging and had issues. So we decided that we're going to do it again. This is probably 3.5, 4 years ago. We completely redid it. And the way that we did it was we actually went out and we hired a team of non-bankers. We said, we want, us bankers, we're so entrenched with this day after day after day, and we think we know what we want, but do we really? So let's go out and let's hire a team to decide and help us design what this user experience might be. And we created all these different personas and all these different things. And we ended up developing a mobile app that my team now supports today and develops and then continues to enhance. So by being able to do that and engaging our membership in those conversations and design things really has allowed us to we think, is deliver a superior mobile product.
That's awesome. That's great perspective. So shifting a little bit, I know some credit unions, a lot of credit unions, once we were struck with COVID, of course, we can't discuss this without bringing in the pandemic that we've been going through. So many credit unions might not have been as advanced as Michigan First with remote services, when people were stuck in their homes. So Jennifer, kind of tossing this your way, what did the COVID environment push Michigan First to do that you might not have otherwise done? Or do you think you were already doing everything? Or did COVID have any impact on your remote services?
Well, as you know, Patty, we didn't close our branches throughout this whole time. We felt very strongly that our members relied upon us and they needed to be able to have access to their money. And so we kept our doors open for our members to continue to serve them. There was a period of time that we considered doing appointment banking. We didn't do it for very long, but we needed to be able to do that to adjust throughout that time. The other challenge that we had was member behavior over time did change. And so what we saw was our 365 Live Member Service Center just was flooded with calls. And our 365 Live team, they do a lot. They handle chat, email, text, message, and they are fully available for our members all the time. And all of a sudden, we were just inundated with calls. And last year, we ended up taking over 100,000 more calls than the year.
Wow.
So that was a lot for the team. Once we noticed this trend, I think within 24 hours, Jerry, I think we ended up turning around and we made it available for all of our branch team members to be able to get on the phones. And it's not to say that we weren't busy in the branches, because we were during that time, but at least we were able to provide additional support to then our 365 Live team right away to be able to continue to adapt and be able to serve our members the way that they wanted to be served during that time.
Yeah, that's great. So I know a lot of it is you're talking a lot about hearing from your members and kind of delivering the remote services that they want or need. How do you determine what the members want or need, other than kind of monitoring what they're using? Is there anything else that you do to see what your membership would like to have?
We work really hard to just listen to our members. And the best way for us to do that is to survey our members, and we have surveys that are instant in response then to us as a leadership team, and we read through all of those comments. We give surveys for new loans, new members, if the member did an online transaction or ATM transaction, or if they came in to see a teller. We get that feedback instantly, and then we act really quickly on that. And as we continue to see that feedback come in, we meet as a team and we adjust as we need to, because we need to be able to understand how our members ultimately want to do their banking and be able to serve them the way that they want to be served.
Excellent. So I should have started. Oh, sorry, Jerry, go for it.
I'll just add to that. Like Jennifer mentioned, we send out these surveys, and they're almost real-time surveys. They're not every transaction every time, but it's filtered in such a way. And we're getting almost real-time feedback from our mobile users, online users, ATMs, our digital channels. And we ask them, what are some of the functionalities? What are the features that we're missing? What do you need to provide? So that's great feedback. And we can call them and talk to them about those things.
Yeah, that's great. I should have asked you this at the top, Jennifer, but how many branches does Michigan First have right now?
Have 19 in-store locations across the state of Michigan and Kroger and Walmart's. And then we have 5 traditional branches on the east side of the state And then we have 3 traditional branches on the west side of the state.
Okay, great. Great. So as far as future technologies, Jerry, I don't know what you can reveal about what Michigan First is thinking of adding to this already impressive list of services, but what are you looking for future tech that you think your members can benefit from and enjoy?
Yeah, you know what's interesting is channels never seem to die, right? They just keep coming on.
Yeah.
And that's probably not a bad thing. You know, we are, as I mentioned before, we had spent a lot of time and continue to spend a lot of time enhancing our mobile banking application because it is the thing that's most widely used. But it's not the only thing. Our online banking is still probably number 2. We've spent probably the last 12, 16 months investing in and refreshing that. So we're totally redoing that, rebuilding that. Our mobile banking product has really leapfrogged it, so we need to get it caught up and so forth. So that's going to be a big thing this year. You know, our ATMs. You know, it's interesting because most financial institutions are abandoning ATMs. They're cost and aren't widely used, but that's not the case for us. Ours are heavily used and very dependent upon, and we continue to invest in those. We just got finished rolling out. Our fleet now is almost 90 ATMs, and then we just completely upgraded the software on them to the brand new user experience for that. Cardless ATM transactions are now available through our mobile banking app, and our ATMs working together. Email receipts and remembering your preferences, those types of things are things that we're investing in our ATM channels. Coin machines, as we mentioned, those are still there. And believe it or not, we still have over 120,000 calls a month into our audio teller.
Wow.
So there's an old channel that just doesn't want to die, but doing it. So what's new? What's coming down the road? Well, it's the $90 million question. Did you know we had an Alexa app? We've got a voice Alexa app. You go out into the Alexa store and then download that skill and do your banking through Alexa. It hasn't been widely used yet, but it's a platform towards building upon. What else are you going to do in your electric car when it's driving itself? You might as well do your banking, through voice. So different things. The personal device, and this really becomes the most interesting discussion, is you talk about the cell phone and the mobile phone and how that's become, no one can live without it, right? It's the first thing you recognize that you left behind when you're leaving somewhere. And it just feels empty when you don't have it. So what's next? What's that next thing? That mobile phone is over 10, 11 years old now. And most life cycles that go on a curve, it's on the bottom end of that bell curve. Yeah. It's going to fall out, right? So what's next? I personally don't believe in a single thing. I think it's a combination of things. Call it the Internet of Things. All the different devices that are out there working together. It's that user experience that's going to come, keep going. So it's understanding what's coming out, how it can be used, how we can leverage it. You look at the topic a little bit. You look at the branch technology itself. As Jennifer had mentioned, we're using tablets to try to greet people coming in, to try to help them with the simple, quick things that we can do right there, right then. Does it end up becoming an Apple store type of environment? Where people come in and try to self-help themselves, and then you jump in when they need help. Perhaps, but it's also trying to deliver that great member experience and helping those people in being there for them. So the technology is going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to do things. We just need to be able to be positioned so that, not to get too technical here, but our infrastructure and our servicing layers of software are able to embrace those and pull those things in and provide that consistent user experience across all the different channels.
So I know some credit unions are considering their branch footprint, and it seems like there's kind of this trend to going to smaller and smaller footprints with branches, maybe just being run by 2 to 3 people, in a really small location. What's Michigan First's approach? Jennifer, maybe I'll start with you. Have you guys entered into that space, or is that something that you think would work for your members, or how do you feel about that decreasing footprint when it comes to a physical branch?
For us, we've experienced quite the opposite. We have experienced a lot of growth. A couple years ago, we added 5 in-store locations. The next year, we added 6 in-store locations. We took a pause last year because we wanted to build up the right support structure to be able to handle that type of growth. Ironic, then COVID occurred during that time. I guess that was to our advantage. And then now we're just looking out to just try to find the right locations to be able to continue to serve. We haven't seen a decrease in traffic at our locations.
So you guys consider a branch, you're looking to do a similar size to what you do now in terms of the physical space, or would you go with more of a micro branch, location?
Our in-store locations are obviously a lot smaller than our branches. That's worked out very well for us. It gives us an easy way to connect with people out in the community as they're shopping at Kroger and Walmart today. And we were able to easily greet them, meet with them, connect with them, and then offer what we have here at Michigan First to be able to help them financially. Those locations, we still need 3 financial service representatives, an assistant branch manager, a branch manager, just to keep up with the volume of traffic. We're opening up over 2,000 accounts a month. We're very busy. So we just continue to find the right types of locations to better serve the members where they want to be served.
Excellent.
And I'll add from a technology perspective at those in-stores, it is a very small footprint. There are no teller stations. It's all done through the ATM. So we've been able to add functionality to our ATM to act as a teller window, if you will. So our FSRs could help make a deposit, help open an account, fund those accounts, do different things through our ATMs as opposed to traditional teller type of transactions and teller drawers.
Yeah, great. So I'll ask both of you this. A lot of credit unions that are listening aren't as large as Michigan First. So when it comes to remote services, what advice would you give to a smaller asset size credit union that's listening in terms of deciding, what sort of remote services to offer when potentially they can't explore all of the things that Michigan First offer?
Yes, I'll take that. I think it's become table stakes today where you have to be able to provide these digital channels to your member no matter what your size. So it really becomes how you deliver them. And if you don't have the luxury like we have to have our own development staff and develop our own apps and be able to quickly respond and grow things that way, you have to rely upon third parties. And there are many good products out there. There are many good vendors that have good products that you can try to help leverage and partner up with and deliver those things. The advice I guess I would have for folks would be to make sure you're having good conversations during that vendor selection process to make sure that you do have the ability to influence their product in a timely manner. Besides putting your logo on an app and just calling it good, and then you're just like everybody else, you want to be able to offer those unique services, things that are unique to you. And if it takes getting on a roadmap and delivering it in 5 years, that doesn't work. So help try to influence them so that there's ability to foster change quick.
That's great. That's good advice, Jerry. Thanks. Jennifer, anything on your end, or Jerry pretty much cover it?
I think Jerry pretty much covered it. It ultimately revolves around your membership and what they want to do when it comes to their banking, and then how are you best able to serve them that way.
Yeah, I think that's spot on too. Really digging into some of those surveys to see, what we can provide that they want to have. And depending on where you're located or what your membership looks like, that's going to vary credit union to credit union for sure.
It really comes down to a lot of institutions want to be the primary financial institution. We want to be their only financial institution. So that's what we're working.
That's great. Well, good luck. You guys are doing great so far, in my opinion. From this member, you're doing a phenomenal job. Jennifer and Jerry, thanks so much for joining us. It was great seeing you both and having you here. I hope you and your colleagues at Michigan First have an awesome summer, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys in person soon.
Thank you, Patty. Likewise.
Well, thanks again, Jennifer and Jerry, for that great discussion. We really appreciated having you. And thanks again for sharing your valuable time with us. So moving forward, what's next for our podcast? Starting in June, it's going to have a little bit different take, a little bit different name, a little bit different spin, but hopefully still the great content and really digging in to get to know our amazing Michigan Credit Union leaders, our CUSO leaders, and maybe even branch out a little nationally to share some of that talent and experience with you from others around our country and the credit union space. So starting in June, our next subject is going to cover women in leadership, talking to various women leaders at the credit union space, and we're excited to start in June. So stay tuned. We'll be sharing out the new details about the podcast shortly, and we're excited to see where it leads us. So thanks again for joining us in this discussion, and have a great day.